The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, coaches. My name is Evan Coughlin from the Glacier Football Clinics, and I'd like to welcome all of you to tonight's webinar. We are honored tonight to have Coach Troy Abbs, the defensive coordinator at Trine, with us to speak on Thunder defensive pursuit and tackling turnover circuit drills, including D-line play. First of all, I'd like to welcome any coaches that have never attended a Glacier webinar before. Once the speaker begins to give his clinic talk, you will be able to see his computer screen and be able to hear his voice through one of two ways, which I'll explain how to use in just a couple minutes. Most speakers use a PowerPoint presentation to make the webinar easy to follow. Also, I wanted to make coaches aware that all updates and changes to the webinar speaker schedule will be updated on Facebook and Twitter. The nature of the coaching business causes schedules to change, and when they do, we want you to know about it. Before we get started with the webinar, I want to go through a couple quick messages with you guys. Close the Gap is a sponsor of ours, and we know that Glacier Clinic coaches like you are tuned into your athlete's health. To help support you, the Glacier Clinics has partnered with Close the Gap, an educational initiative focused on eliminating disparities in cardiovascular care. Together, we will help educate you and your staff on the appropriate screening your athletes should undergo to determine if they are at risk for sudden cardiac arrest. Visit www.glacierclinics.com and look under the Coaches Resources tab for the Close the Gap page to find out more about how you can help. The average high school football player receives 650 blows to the head every season. Hundreds of former NFL players are suing the league for long-term effects of the concussions and head injuries they suffered while playing with helmets very similar to the ones our children and players are wearing today. It's time to be proactive. POC Ventures took that step and created the Guardian Cap, a one-size-fits-all soft-shell practice helmet that is lightweight, just a third of a pound, doesn't absorb water, and acts as an insulator against heat. The Guardian absorbs a portion of the impact produced by helmet-to-helmet contact, and testing shows that wearing the Guardian can significantly reduce head injury criteria. What are you going to do this season to protect your players? They have a limited quantity available for 2012, so first to order will get the product. Order today for July invoicing. Call today to order your Guardian caps at 770-667-6004. Or visit the website at www.guardiancaps.com. There are two options for audio with this webinar. Option one is your computer speakers. This is the default option, and most of you are probably already listening to us through your computer speakers. Option two is the telephone. To listen by telephone, go to the webinar control panel, expand the audio portion of the control panel, and click on the Use Telephone Radio button. Then dial the number shown and enter the access code when prompted. Glacier Clinic Online is included in the season pass, and it has over 50 instructional videos, over 900 sets of clinic notes, and over 190 archived webinars. If you are not a Glacier season pass holder and you are interested in trying out Glacier Clinic Online, email Aaron Coughlin at acoughlin@glacierfootballclinics.com with your name, school, or organization, and state, and he will set you up with a 3-day free trial. Go to glaciercliniconline.com for more information. Also included in the season pass are discounts from some of the top football vendors. Some of the vendors offering great discounts on their products and services are Huddle, Sport Decals, and Power Plus. You can find the complete list at www.glacierclinics.com. Since 1968, football coaches have been training drills on Rogers equipment to help teach player fundamentals while protecting their athletes by limiting the amount of live contact and giving them the confidence to practice with game day aggressiveness. Rogers understands that champions are made long before the games begin. By partnering with football coaches, Rogers has developed a revolutionary line of strength training equipment for off-season training that builds football strength. No wonder that most serious football players train with Rogers Athletic. For more information, visit www.rogersathletic.com or call 1-800-457-5337. Football coaches have trained youth, high school, college, and professional champions by making Rogers Athletic football training sleds and dummies an important part of their practices. Football drills on Rogers equipment help coaches teach player fundamentals while protecting their athletes by limiting the amount of live contact. Our blocking and tackling sleds, offensive and defensive chutes, and football dummies give your players the confidence to practice with game day aggressiveness. We also supply all your football field equipment from goalpost to chain crew sets to give your stadium a professional look. Okay, Coach Abs, now I'm going to hand control over to you. A little box is going to show up that says show my screen or something like that. Just click yes. And Coach, before we get started, I just want to go through some brief instructions with everyone. Just before we get started, I'm just going to go over some instructions real quick.
Okay.
I just wanted to let everyone know that there are a lot of coaches on tonight, so be sure to save questions for the end of the webinar. Coach Abs will stay at the end of the session, and we will open up the floor for questions at that time. Following the presentation, I'll provide you with instructions on how to submit your questions. In the meantime, we suggest that you send your questions as they come by the questions text box in your webinar control panel, and they will be addressed at the end of the presentation. Also, you can hide the webinar control panel by clicking on the button on the left side of your control panel that has a white arrow pointing to the right with an orange background. That will minimize the box and allow you to see the entire presentation. Now I'd like to hand it over to our speaker for today, Coach Abs. Again, Coach, we are honored to have you with us today to talk about Thunder defensive pursuit and tackling and turnover circuit drills, including D-line play. Coach, it's all yours.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about practice organization and get right into the tackle and turnover circuit and go over a few of our pursuit drills that we feel like do a good job of really simulating what we see on a game-to-game and a game-to-game and play-to-play basis. First of all, I just want to share our quick philosophy. You know, we've adopted an attacking, aggressive style defense. We're going to incorporate blitzes from every position on the field. We want to keep offenses on their heels, and our goal is to confuse the offense with pressure coming from every angle possible. We want the opposing backfield telling us, coach, it seems like Trine has 15 people on the field, and we want to pressure the offensive line and the quarterback by using a combination of line stunts, zone pressures, and all-out blitzes. Our defensive system is easily adjusted to different offensive formations, personnel, and schemes, and our objective every play is to create pressure and chaos. We want to run the football and be in a bad mood when we get there and play with a lot of aggression, never be soft. To access the film that I'm going to use throughout this webinar, go ahead and open up your internet browser, go to YouTube, and on YouTube search Coach Troy Abs with no spaces, and the two videos we're going to use should be visible. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Go to YouTube, www.youtube, in a different browser or whatever, and just search Coach Troy Abs with no spaces, and you'll see my channel right here. Click on that, and then we'll come back and use these videos further on in the webinar. But right now I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. Talked about a few things I think are key to being a great defensive coach. I think you have to teach your upperclassmen how to lead and not complain about not having leaders. We've all been there. We've changed our leadership program here at Trine University each year so that we're identifying our issues and taking care of them ahead of time before the season starts. Sometimes we've done a great job at that. Other times we haven't. But this year we're really excited about the upcoming season and the progress that our upperclassmen have made. And I think you've got to be able to teach pursuit and effort and understand how many plays each of your guys can play with 100% effort. Is it 30 plays? Is it 40, 50, 60 plus? Whatever it is, I think we've got to find out and find times in a game where maybe we can get a backup some playing time, if at all possible, to help our starters or our number one guys be the best that they can be, so there aren't any plays where they're taken off a play. Obviously, don't hold grudges. Demand that your drills are done with 100% effort, because the only time they're going to show up is when they're performed at 100% effort. And that kind of goes in, you coach what you tolerate. One of the favorite quotes I've ever heard at any kind of clinic or anything like that was from Larry Johnson, who was formerly the D-line coach at Penn State. It says, if I tell you the truth, can we still be friends? I think it's a great quote to use with parents. It's a great quote to use with players. And you know, make sure that your players understand that they get better or worse every breath, every thought, every rep. We want to be consistent when we teach technique. We do a lot of stuff, but we change very little from week to week so that our kids are performing the same techniques. And, you know, we want to get everybody on the same page and support our game plan every single week. One of the things that we really believe leads to turnovers is playing with effort. So we wanted a solid definition of what a loaf is. And a loaf is laziness. We know that as coaches, but do our players truly understand that? And we've got signs up all over that define a loaf. And when we have team defensive meetings, we're going to go over that definition numerous times during preseason and remind them of what a loaf is, and even sit down in defensive side meetings and give examples of great effort and give examples of loafs so that kids are able to see what great effort looks like, and they're able to see themselves not giving the kind of effort that we expect. You know, laying on the ground. If the player's laying on the ground, they don't want to be on the field. We need to get up and get to the football. You talk about creating turnovers. Well, is the second guy in there when the ball's on the ground? Maybe he's laying on the ground. Could have had a chance to jump on the ball, recover a fumble, or pick it up and score a touchdown. You know, we want to get to the football, and we want to get there quick and never lay on the ground. You know, playing without enthusiasm. You know, there's no reason where if a guy makes a great play, why there shouldn't be 10 other guys slapping him around, slapping him on the butt, and telling him a good job. You know, it's more fun to play football when you're playing with enthusiasm and you're having fun together. If a player's, number 3, changing speeds in pursuit of the ball, that's a huge issue. You know, we want to see guys sprinting to the football, getting into their pursuit fits, and having fun once they get there. Number 4, getting passed by another player at their position while they're in pursuit. Now, I'm not stupid. I realize that there are times where somebody is just that much better than somebody else. However, if we're putting forth maximum effort and we're performing the technique that we've identified and taught, there is no reason for another player at the same position, be it interior defensive line or defensive end or middle linebacker, to get beat by a player in their position while they're in pursuit. You know, that's all. That's just getting to the ball. Number 5, turning down a hit. We want to punish the ball. We want the second guy in there to finish people off with a big hit or a strip. And that's how you create turnovers. We'd use a loaf chart. And what we'll do is part of every game film, we will mark each play as worth 8 points. And we'll divide the total number of loafs by the possible points to come up with a pursuit grade. All right? And failure to meet 95% as a defense is usually going to equal a lot of extra work. You know, we've even raised the bar a little bit over time, over this year, and we're actually going to make that 98% next year. Enthusiasm. You know, during team defense, all of our players must show enthusiasm. I really don't think there's anything that could ever be fake enthusiasm. I mean, if you act like you're enthusiastic, sooner or later you become enthusiastic. So, you know, after practice, we ask the seniors to rate the enthusiasm between a 1 to 5 with their hands held high, and the average is less than 4. Then we're going to do shoulder raises. What are shoulder raises? We're down in the push-up position, all right, and we point at the sky. You know, this serves a dual purpose. For one, it improves enthusiasm at practice and gets the other kids into the team D time. Also, it works to strengthen stabilization muscles in the shoulders. And we haven't had any new shoulder injuries, you know, during the season. We've had things that have been there, but we haven't lost, you know, previously before kids have come to us, but we haven't lost any playing time from starters due to any kind of shoulder injuries. During each practice, the defense has to create 5 turnovers, so they're going to face additional shoulder raises or gassers or some type of additional work. This improves enthusiasm, provides a focus on making stops and stripping the ball. Towards the end of practice, it sometimes simulates that 4-minute defense. All right, and this doesn't really apply to us in college football as much as it does to high school football because of our new clock rules. But in our 4-minute defense, that's a defense you're using at the end of the game when there's a focus on creating turnovers and there's a focus on getting off the pile as soon as possible so the official can start that play clock. Now we're automatic 40-second play clock. However, that's new. And I did it when we were at the high school level, and then, before our clock rules changed. It gets them off the pile, and it can get them more plays, because we're going to have 20 minutes of defensive team time. If we get off the pile, those backups who are usually in the game at the end are going to get more reps. Or not at the end of the game, I'm sorry, at the end of that practice time, they're going to get more reps by getting off the pile. And if they're close to those 5 turnovers, the rest of the defense is going to be cheering them on. So you've got starters, rooting for backups and threes, and that really improves defensive unity and enthusiasm. In the past, when we weren't that physically gifted, 3 consecutive gains of less than 3 yards we counted as turnovers, and we made the kids get 10 per practice. So, because to me, and what we teach our kids, a 3 and out is just like a turnover. That's why one of the biggest things that we preach as a defense is that we want to set the tone in the first series of each half. So the first defensive series we get to go out there during the first half, we want to get a 3 and out. And we preach it as one of our goals because it's just like getting a turnover. Same thing coming out after halftime. We want to make sure we want to concentrate and do everything we can do to get a 3 and out. Go over our practice organization real quick. It's pretty standard. We start every practice, as a lot of you do, with a walkthrough, and then we get in a stretch. Then we do punt, and then we'll do a 20-minute ending. Okay? Then we'll do some type of pursuit. And we've got a lot of different types of pursuit that we pick to fit our opponent. The first one is a 6-cone pursuit. We're going to watch a little bit of film of that in a little bit. But we take 6 cones, we put them on each side, about 2.5 yards spaced apart on each side. We're going to have we'll have our players lined up back here. We'll have a tackle line, a nose line, an inside linebacker line, an outside backer line, a safety line, and a corner line. We're just going to go 6 at a time. Backer's going to be back 6 yards, and the safety and the corner will be a little bit closer into here. The kids will then chop their feet, and when the coach slaps the ball or says hit it, then the nose and the tackle are going to do a down up. The coach is going to point a direction after he says hit it, and then all 6 of these guys are going to run to the 6 cones on this side or this side. They don't have a predetermined cone to run to. They're going to take the first cone available. So we're working on power run teams that are going to try to run into the alley or C-gap, option teams and spread teams, throwing the bubble. So coach will say hit it, and then he'll turn and point one direction. The first player to get there takes the first cone, second takes the second cone, third takes the third cone, fourth takes the fourth, fifth, and sixth. So, and as we do this, it's rapid fire. They go, the next group comes in. That group goes, the next group comes in. Now, if they screw it up, they come back. So I might have this group go. They go this way. This backer, gets messed up and goes to the wrong cone. This coach will give a thumb down to say, you got to go back. So once they recollect, they'll get together, break down on the coach, and then they'll come back. Now, while they're breaking down on the coach, the next group will come up, and I'll send them the other way. So it's rapid fire. We're moving, we're running, and we're going to go about 5 to 10 minutes on this, depending on the practice schedule, and really simulate working hard. Now, there are going to be times when they hustle their tails off, and they get here, and they're not sure which cone to go to. That happens to football. How are you going to react to adversity? You know, how are you going to react when things don't go just how they're playing? There are weird things that happen in this game of football. You and I both know that. So we're going to constantly do that. Run them in, run them in. So if they come over here and the coach gives them a thumb down, they're back on. Coach gives them a thumb up, they go to the end of the line. Now, they get a thumb down. This next group comes in, they go that way. Coach gives them a thumb up or thumb down. This coach is going to hold this group so these guys can run on back. We've had groups go 4 or 5 times in a row. Sooner or later, they get it right. But it's just a great way of teaching kids to react to that next opening, to that next open window as they're running in pursuit, and fitting off the next guy's butt as they're running in pursuit. And you've just got 6 cones 2.5 yards apart. And on the film that we're going to watch of this in a little bit, you'll see we don't even have the cones out there. It's spring ball film in D3. We're not even supposed to have cones, so we don't. So you'll see they're just running every 2.5 yards. You'll see coaches doing a thumb up, thumb down. We want them to go to the correct cone, and we want them to make sure that they're running all the way through the cone. And no lows are tolerated. Another pursuit that we'll use is a rabbit pursuit. Teams that like to run a lot of sweeps and outside run game. You know, in this, we're just gonna sprint to the ball, and we're gonna tap the runner, whoever has the ball, on the butt. So you got a coach here, and he's just gonna throw the ball here, or maybe heave it deep. So everybody's running to the ball, heave it deep. Everybody's running to the ball. We don't do this a lot. Sometimes it gets a little muddied up, especially. You know, I don't care what level of football you're at, you're going to have guys that aren't as athletic as others and run into the rabbits. But we will do this on occasion to get all 11 guys running to the ball. Another drill that we do, we call our interception return and bubble screen pursuit drill. We'll have coaches here, 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 and here, where we're just working on coming out, lining up. We won't even have a formation. We'll just predetermine that it's double twins, and the coach will smack the ball. These guys will do a down-up, and then the coach will throw to one of the coaches. And the more coaches you have, obviously, the more you can place them around. So there we're just working on running and sprinting to the ball. So we might say, hey, we're going to run cover 2. Everybody takes their cover 2 drops. Coach throws the ball. We like to do this against teams that run a lot of 3-step and a lot of bubble screens. That way, if we do make an interception, we understand what we want to do. This guy's dropping into a deep path. He makes the interception. We want him running to the near sidelines and outside the numbers. We want everyone else turning and running all the way to the goal line. That's why we do this on the 10, to lead the way, to lead the way, to lead the way into the end zone for that guy. All right, we're going to go ahead and access the film now and take a look at that 6-cone pursuit drill. It's a very short film, so go ahead and go to that YouTube link and click on the 6-cone pursuit drill. Just a minute long. I'll give everybody a second to get there, and then I'll start mine up. Again, if you haven't accessed it yet, just type in Coach Troy Abs, abs with 2 B's. If I had one, I'd be fit, and I am not right now. So abs with 2 B's, Coach Troy Abs, right up in there. And then go ahead and click on the one that says 6-cone pursuit. Just kind of let it run. You'll see a coach over there. The sound is horrible. You got one coach there that's directing them. You can see how they all sprint to the line and they fit off another one. If you watch that first one again, this is pretty good. So you see the first guy's finishing, then the next guy 2 yards out, and the next guy, and then the defensive linemen are fitting off each other 2 yards, 2.5 yards over there. You see our coach right there giving a thumbs up. These guys are going to come that way. Okay, there. The first guy did not make it to there, so that's going to be that should be a thumbs down. And you can see the last guy peeling off. Horrible job there. I think that was his first practice. changing direction on the way. So we're just working on sprinting and then adjusting as we go. As you can see there, we had a group, they got a thumbs down, so they had to come back. So let's see how they do here. Filling off each other's butts. Every 2.5 yards, sprinting all the way through the sideline. Adjusting on the run, making sure they're sprinting all the way through. Let you guys watch that a little bit more, and we'll kind of go on from there. All right, so that would take us through a Tuesday where we would have our pursuit drill. Then on Wednesday, we're going to work on turnovers. Wednesday's turnover day. It's third down day. We're going to work our nickel, stuff like that. We're going to have a third and short competition with our offense, and we're going to work quite a bit of special teams. So, you know, just a lot of different situations, some of the different situations that we'll go ahead and run through. You know, head coach will control the clock, and the offense and defense are giving a different number of timeouts on different days. But we'll work every type of situation. Defense, ball on the -1, up 2 with 3 minutes on the clock. You know, coming out and running out the clock for the offense. Offense down 4 with 1:20 on the clock from the +40. So we're working on our 2-minute for a score. Or not really 2-minute, but playing that +40 defense, and then usually transfers into red zone defense. Offense down 2 with 1:20 from the 50. We're working on getting a field goal. We're working on getting a stop. We're working on running off our field goal block team. Offense down 4 with 32 seconds from the 20. Working straight red zone. Offense down 4. Just different situations. And what we do as well is we take these situations and we teach our kids in our meeting rooms what the situation is going to be and then what we need to do. You know, for a while we were constantly complaining, you know what, our kids, man, they're just not very football smart. I wish they were more football smart. Well, we've got to teach them that. And I don't think kids are sitting down in front of the TV and watching as much football as anymore. They're playing a lot of video games, but shoot, the clock doesn't equate to anything on those video games. You can score, you know, 21 points in 4 minutes pretty easily. So those are things that in video games, obviously. So those are things that we want to work on. In our tackle turnover circuit, we're going to have 6 stations. And in those 6 stations, we're going to have resident experts at each spot. For example, I'm going to take the strip the passer and do some other drills here. We're going to rotate in a clockwise manner. Coach Wall here, our middle linebackers coach, is going to work on a drill he calls inside and in front. We're going to work on leveraging tackles. You know, it's a big special teams and open field tackle scenario. Here we're going to have a strip drill or a second man in partner strip drill. Here we're going to have an angle tackle drill. And sometimes we'll just do, you know, a simple form fit tackle drill there. We're going to have some type of open field tackling drill here, and then we're going to have a feet cut and tackle drill here. But each coach is assigned that part of tackling and turnovers. So I give them the freedom to do whatever drills they want, as long as it pertains to the feet cut and tackle right here for our tackle and noses coach. That's what we're going to do. You know, as long as it relates to open field tackling, that's what Coach Scott, our outside linebacker coach, is going to do. So we're going to work on those 6 areas. As far as proper tackling technique, got this straight from Coach Wall, our inside linebackers coach, who has a wealth of football knowledge and experience. But something that we came together as a staff and everybody presented on how we should teach a proper tackling technique. And this is what we really kind of settled on. But we want to settle into a bent knee position as the approach to the ball carrier is made. B, we want to take an extra step and get as close to the ball carrier as possible and try to step on his toes in a bent knee position. We don't want to raise or lower ourselves from that good hitting position. We want to keep our elbows close to the body, and we don't want to wind up. We never want to see the elbows when we're going in to make a tackle go back. When the elbows go back, the head goes down. A lot of times, especially with younger kids, you see the elbows go back, and that head will go down with it. We want to make chest-to-chest contact with the head up, the back arched, and the neck bowled. We want to look up and see what we hit with our eyes open. You know, and that's so big. Guys, we videotape this presentation of our proper tackling technique at the beginning of the year. In today's game of football, I suggest that you guys do it. You know, you never want to have somebody coming to you and saying, you know what, you didn't teach my kid how to tackle correctly. And then he has a concussion 20 years from now, and they come back and blame you. You know, here it is, E. Make chest-to-chest contact with the head up, the back arched, and the neck bowled with the eyes open. We want to wrap up with violence. We want to reach up for the nameplate on the back of the ball carrier's jersey and grab cloth. We want to move the feet on contact and run through the tackle until the ball carrier is on the ground. And we'll never trade it. We will not trade a solid tackle for a big hit. Okay? We want a solid tackle. I don't care if we have a big hit all game. We want a solid tackle. We don't want to turn down a hit, but we want to make sure that we're solid tacklers. So as far as what we teach, proper tackling technique, there it is. We want to settle. We want to take the extra step and step on the toes. We don't want to raise or lower. We want to keep our elbows close to the body and not wind up. Make chest-to-chest contact with our head up and our eyes open. Wrap up with violence. Move feet on contact and run through the tackle until the ball carrier is on the ground. Very simple. One of our station, Coach Bergman, who is our safeties coach, he is going to work a strip station every single day. All right. We really teach when we're working with a buddy. You know, when we'll have a running back here with the ball and a defender behind him, and there he's just going to start on a half-speed jog. This guy's going to come in. We want to strip and grab with both hands at the same time. All right? So when we come in, if they're doing it correctly, we want to either punch underneath or come over the top with the ball side hand and grab to secure the tackle with the opposite hand at the same time. A lot of people will teach to secure the tackle, then work the strip. But you see it all the time. What happens when a ball carrier gets touched? They tuck that ball in there real tight. So if they're going to tuck that ball in as soon as they feel everything, we want to drill it so that we're making simultaneous contact. Is it going to happen? You know what? Probably 9 times out of 10, no. But if we can drill it, we're going to sell our kids that that's the best way to do it, and we've seen it on film where we execute that, and it's really turned into a lot of turnovers as our kids get older, and we're playing seniors and not freshmen and sophomores. We've seen growth in the number of turnovers that we've had. Okay, so we're either going to smack down on the ball or punch underneath. A lot of that we teach is going to depend on where the elbow of the running back is. If the elbow is wide, we want to punch underneath. If it's tight, we want to smack down over the top. We want to knock the ball onto the ground, and then we want to pick the ball off the ground, scooping it up, and sprinting back to the next line. You know, then we'll work a second man-in strip. We'll start with an angle tackle. It'll be a good form-fit angle tackle. Second man in will rip the ball out and run the ball on a sprint to the front of the line. Now, we want to do a pry and pull when we execute the second man in. So as the second man in comes in, once the tackler has the tackle secured and almost stop forward progress, we want the second man to come in, push on the elbow, or pin the elbow towards the body of the ball carrier and pull the ball out at the other tip. So we want to push in on the elbow and pry it out, or pin and pry is what we call it. So that's the second man in strip. Then in my drill, we're going to do a quarterback strip and score. This is probably the one we do the most. So we've got defensive lineman here, or whatever position starts here. We'll have some kind of a movement cue to start them out. They'll execute the cue. They'll execute a pass rush move here, and they'll finish on the dump. We want to make sure that we try to get, again, simultaneous contact, especially if it's a right-handed quarterback and we're coming in from our right-handed side. We realize we're to the blind side, and that's where we want to execute this. That's why we will work this drill almost exclusively from the defensive right. Now, we will work to the defensive left if we're playing a left-handed quarterback. But if you're coming into a quarterback's face, you've got to be much under control if you want to execute a sack. So if we're coming into the right, we execute the pass rush move. We come in. We want to make simultaneous contact, reaching over the top and clubbing down on the ball hand as we secure with our inside or downfield arm. So this arm is going to secure. This one's going to slap down or tomahawk down. And then we want to land on the dummy. Okay, most quarterbacks, moms probably don't want to hear this, but we do want to land on top of the dummy. You know, if we get a chance to hit the quarterback, we want to make him feel it. We don't want to injure him, but we want to make him feel it. We want to land on top of him. And then if the ball we're going to simulate a fumble. If the ball goes forward into this area, we are just going to get on it. We're going to jump on the ball and really get around it to the football, cover the tips with both hands, and get into a fetal position is what we call it. We don't want to land on top of the ball, especially the safeties and the corners and some of our outside backers when they're going into there. If they jump on top of the ball, I mean, odds are they could break a rib and be out for a couple of weeks. So we want to make sure that we're diving on the ball, getting beside it, protecting the ball, and getting in a fetal position. We don't want to land on top of the football. All right, we do not want to land on top of the football. But we don't, we treat it like a baby. You don't want to be a baby killer. That's the worst thing in American society, to be a baby killer. Get beside the thing and bring it in. Now, if the ball is fumbled behind this 5-yard line or back further, then we want to execute a good scoop and score and sprint at least 5 yards after we get the football. And we'll have a cone set up back here. We'll have a yard line that we indicate is where the finish is. So he'll come, execute that. This guy will either roll the ball nicely forward or back. We don't want to throw the ball right at them, especially when they start getting tired. They get lazy and just throw the ball right at them. We'd like the ball to be almost sitting still by the time this guy gets to it. So we'll execute that, and we'll do this with all of our players. Now, when we have the middle linebackers and the interior defensive linemen do it, we'll move them in a little bit. Some days we'll also go outside with the middle linebackers because we do have things where they're edge rushers as well. But for the most part, they're working on an inside path to the dummy. We'll also work a sideline fumble drill. And I like to do this on a day where we might be helmets only or something like that, where we have 2 defenders and a coach right here with the football, and we're just going to roll the ball on the sideline. Okay? This defensive guy is going to pick it up if he can. If not, he's going to make it look like he's trying to pick it up and bat the ball in this direction. Now, batting is illegal, so we tell them they've got to do a good sail job in order to not get a penalty, but we're going to go ahead and teach them, if it's going out of bounds, if it goes out of bounds, first of all, it's the offense's ball. Most kids think it's like a stinking basketball, especially here in Indiana. So we want to make sure that we're either controlling the ball in bounds or making it so that our partner can't. If he does pick it up, then he just simulates a block on the coach, and then he executes a fumble return. And we've seen it happen 5 times in 6 years. We've had a fumble near the sidelines and had that scenario. Another thing that we'll do is a toughness drill. This is something we do once or twice a year when we want to find out who's a contender and who's a pretender. But it's very, very simple. We're going to start out with three blockers here and 1 defensive guy. And hang with me. This is somewhat complicated to explain. When the whistle is blown, this player is going to attempt to get to and finish at this cone. While this player is inside this box, this player is going to block him and keep him from crossing the line that he starts on. So this guy's a blocker. He is going to attempt to keep this defender from crossing his line. He cannot attack this defender until the defender crosses into his 5-yard box. There are no rules inside this 5-yard box. There's no such thing as holding. I shouldn't say there are no rules. There are no closed fist punches, and there are no face masks allowed inside this box. If the defender is forced out of bounds, he has to come in that spot and finish. Once this defender defeats this blocker and crosses this line, now this man is going to come block him. All right? Once he defeats that blocker, so this guy defeats that blocker, comes here, defeats that blocker, gets to here. Now this guy is going to come try to block him. And once he defeats that block, he's going to finish, follow all the way through. Then what we do is once that guy blocks, he goes to the end of the line. Once he blocks, he goes up. Once he blocks, he goes up, and then he becomes the blocker back here. But it really lets you identify who your tough guys are, who your good special teams guys can be, and who's just a contender and not a pretender. We'll also work draw and screen drills. We'll set the dummy back a little bit further. We'll work an edge rush move, and then we will run to the running back. So the running back will wait until he hears that hit, and then he will run the ball through to the cones or saucers, so nobody's turning an ankle or anything. What we want an edge rusher to understand, especially our defensive linemen, is that when you've got a skinny guy running the ball forward that cannot see you, that is a prime opportunity to create a turnover from behind. So, and we're teaching when those other drills that we're doing become something that's a time when you're going to use it. So when we see that, we want to retrace and get in pursuit to the running back, whether it's a draw in this scenario or a screen. So we'll have a coach stand here. He'll work his move for this. This is the screen drill. Coach will stand here, work a move, and then if he sees the coach back up, he's going to turn his and run. He's going to just freeze. He's not going to turn and run. I'm sorry. He's going to freeze and then react to the coach and do the same thing. As the coach throws the ball to the running back, he's going to get in pursuit. So those are two things that we teach. Number one, a running back on a screen running away from you that cannot see you is a skinny guy that cannot see you. Take advantage of it and create a strip. Number two, on a draw, same scenario. We'll also put in one of the stations that I'll run. We've got a ball carrier right here standing right next to the dummy with the coach here. And the coach is going to simulate the week's offensive tackle blocking schemes. It could be a slide protection. All right, it could be a big-on-big protection. It could be a runaway or cutback. But we are going to simulate what they do. Each time, this ball carrier will just stand here, and he'll react to what the coach is doing. So if the coach just comes back, he's going to simulate big-on-big. He's going to put a move on, execute the strip, and then he'll throw the ball roll or throw the ball out from there, be it here or here. Cover zone, pickup zone. All right. If the coach zones away, all right, then we want the blitzer to sit and get square, keep his shoulders square, and shuffle down the line of scrimmage, because what we're going to have this back do if the coach zones in is we're going to have him cut back, and we want to fit that up correctly. All right? Corners, safeties, middle linebackers, outside linebackers, defensive end are all edge rushers in our scheme. So we want to use this time during this tackle and turnover drill to really teach those skill sets. We think they're really important, but as you guys know, as position coaches, we have a million different things that we want to teach and that we want to get to. So this is a way to lessen that. Just make it part of your circuit. Angle tackle station, we just have a 5-yard diamond. We want to use our proper tackling technique. The key here is number 5. We want to make contact with the near foot in the ground. If the ball carrier is coming this way, us as a defensive lineman, we're coming this way, we want to make sure that we have this near foot in the ground as this ball carrier comes. Now, why is that? So that we've got something to take that next step with after contact. If we make contact with this foot in the ground and the fight is that way, all we've got really is part of our outside shoulder and unfortunately our head to make the tackle with and to keep leverage, and that's where you get a lot of ball carriers that fall forward. So in this drill, we want to focus on getting the near foot in the ground and performing a good form tackle. I'm going to repeat that just to make sure you guys understand what I mean. You know, as we come, we want to make contact with that near foot in the ground so we can step from here to here with the second foot and push the ball carrier back. You know, we're not going to finish until we're back 5 yards here, or 2.5 to 3 yards here. Inside and in front, very simple drill on a go call by coach. The ball carrier is going to run to a side. The defender to the side the ball carrier will work to keep the ball inside and in front of him until making contact with his inside shoulder. And the backside defender, all right, is going to keep leverage and in cutback position. So as he hits there, then he'll work there. Then he'll give ground a little bit and come back this way. He'll work the leverage. He'll work the cutback. Now, we'll also throw a third person in here and start the ball head up so that we've got a fold player that's there for he's watching for that counter cutback reverse and then bring it back the other way. And then, you know, he still becomes your cutback. He's your force player. He then would be your cutback if the ball is going this way with the extra player, and then he would be your fold. So that's a very good drill. Has a lot of merit for open field, outside zone, and special teams play in the kicking game. We'll also do an open field tackling drill. One of the great drills that we will do, we'll have the offensive player with a dummy in his hand, and they will just work together. When the tackler gets about 5 yards away, we want to come to balance, keeping our feet moving, and still continuing towards the ball. But at 5 yards away is where we want to start to come to balance and get ready to go either direction. We want to focus on the belly button of the ball carrier. But what we'll do, and that'll be obviously a spot on the pad that we have here. So as they close then, this ball carrier will either hold the hand shield out to the right or hold the hand shield out to the left, and we want to make a good form fit tackle on it. So he's just carrying a hand shield, so he just holds it out to the right, form fit, holds it out to the left, form fit. Then we will go ahead and do it without the hand shield and give the guy one cut. Okay? So we'll sprint towards the ball carrier with eyes on his belt buckle. When tackler's 5 yards away, ball carrier goes right or left at a 45-degree angle. Tackler must come to balance, keeping his feet moving and take a lateral step. One of the keys there is we do not want to cross over at any time. When we cross over, that's when bad things happen. We want to stay low. We want to stay on that same level. We don't want to raise. We don't want to lower. And we want to step on his toes before striking and shoot the hands up like we talked about earlier to the back of the breastplate. And we want to grab cloth. This is Coach Scott, one of his axioms with angry hands and accelerate feet through the finish. Then we're going to have a cut station where we work on defeating a cut block. We want to attack the cut block with both hands. We want to punch the front and back of the near shoulder pad with the free side hand and the front and back of the helmet at 45-degree angle. Too many times when guys try to defeat a cut, they push straight down. Well, if you push straight down, they're probably going to get into your feet. So we want to punch at a 45-degree angle whenever we're defeating a cut. We want to get our eyes up and find our prey, and then we want to perform a good angle tackle. Finish by pushing the ball carrier back perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. Those are a few of the drills that we do. Definitely not all the drills that we do, but with time permitting and stuff, Figured those were the best ones to get to. We're going to go ahead and go back to the film now. So if you want to bring up my video channel again, you'll see where it says tackle and turnover circuit. We'll go ahead and start that one up. And I'll talk it through. So right here on this first clip, well, I'll give you a chance to get to there. But on this first clip and the first drill, and what I'll do, guys, is I'll just pause it in between each drill so everybody can kind of catch up. So on this first drill, we're just putting a move on the dummy. This is our defensive ends. And then we're going to work on making simultaneous contact. Does a pretty good job there. And as you can see, this guy is throwing the ball backwards or forwards. Okay, so that's in the recovery area. I want to get right next to it. All right. So there, simultaneous contact. That's pretty good. I want to bend at the knees, not at the waist. I'm going to pause and go to the cut ball tackle next. So I'll give guys a chance to get there. All right, again, we want to punch out at a 45. That was a good job at a 45, although his get off was not great. 45, then finish. This is what Coach Land's working on coming across. Our head coach likes to jump in and attack the turnover circuit every once in a while. Even though he's an offensive guru, he likes to throw the ball around. Okay, again, get a little sloppy here, but you can see what we're working on. Again, open field tackle. This is live. Just working on sprinting and then settling. Again, we're at the open field tackle drill at about 1 minute. Okay, so they're actually this guy, in this case, Coach Scott, has him standing still. So he's going to come up to 5 yards and come to balance. Let's see if he changes his level. Nope, that's pretty good. Want to make sure that they're not crossing over. Want to make sure they're grabbing cloth with angry hands. On that last one, you can see he kind of wound up. We don't want to wind up because that's when the head goes down. Pretty good level there, but a little bit of a crossover. A little bit of a crossover there. Okay, now we're working on angle tackle. We just got them 5 yards apart. We're just working on a good angle tackle. And we want to throw it up. We want to make contact with the near foot first. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one right there. Number 3, Tyson Kazi. Very good there. We don't want to throw our arms back. We don't want to wind up. That's going to take our head down. Okay, that last guy kind of pulled his arms back a little bit. We also put our kickers and our punters and our holders in our tackling and turnover circuit. We want to make sure that they're safe. Again, we're back here. I've got the defensive lineman at that station. We want to put the dummy where the drop spot's going to be for the quarterback. We go as rapid fire as we can, working on simultaneous contact on that bag. Or he didn't quite come high enough. Again, we don't want him to toss the ball out like that. As we all know, some are smarter than others. So here we've got our this punch or strip drill. Looks like they're working on punching. He should have secured the tackle on the other side at the same time. We want to sprint it back to the line. Now we've got our inside and in front drill. Okay, so they're here, inside and in front. He's there for cutback. Now he's there for cutback. There we go. Okay, I kind of lost it at the last second there. We're just going to bounce them back and forth to get in cutback position and in a force position. There you go. Force, cutback, force, cutback, force, cutback. Guy. Don't want to let them get outside. Don't ever want to let them get outside. I want to keep them inside and in front of you. That's why we call it the inside and the in front drill. Watch it again. Boom. Pretty good, except we'd like him to attack a little bit more and stay balanced. Stay balanced. Don't change level with your feet. This is a defensive line, so not pretty. So now we're working on our edge rush drill. Pause so you guys can get to the edge rush drill. Still got a little choppy there. So now he is going to read him. These are outside linebackers. This guy is going to read the coach. He's going to read the coach. So is him. So is he, excuse me. If he zones away, he's going to sit and squat and read the quarterback because he's a C-gap defender. So he's there for the cutback. Like him to stay on the line of scrimmage and shuffle down and be under control. So there's a pass. We're going to simulate big on big, and it's just like normal. Okay, slide protection, reading the offensive line. Down block, that's good. That's good. Number 24, when you see him on the film, and number 5, 2 examples of great job. Those guys are older kids. Juniors last year are going to be seniors. Okay, that's definitely a run. Number 6 does a good job of staying square to the line of scrimmage. Sees a hi-hat on a pass set. We're going to get it. So we're reading that offensive lineman. When he's not sure, we tell him just to shuffle and sit and wait. See number 9, shuffle and sit and wait? That's a freshman. There, kid's an upperclassman. Did a good job. Again, working on simultaneous contact when we hit the back. Great job of finishing by 20, you'll see. Okay, not a bad job by 17 of sitting down and playing the cutback. But we're working on the things that we're going to see in a game, things that are going to happen in the game. There's a kicker, or punter, excuse me. Hey, they got to do the drills too. You never know where they're going to end up there. Okay, then our middle linebackers just working in there, or we're just working a straight ahead rush. But again, I've kind of taken you through the drills that we do and some of the variations that we've done. At this point, I think we're pretty good with opening up with some questioning. What do you think?
You want to do questions right now, Coach?
Yeah. Are we good time-wise?
Yeah, we're good. We're plenty good on time. If you want to do a couple more things, even, I mean, we have plenty of time.
No, I mean, that's pretty much what I have as far as the tackle and turnover. You know, just a little bit on, you know, what we've been doing this since 2007. You know, in 2006. We created 22 turnovers. 2007, 21, and we just started doing the circuit, and we had 21 turnovers. Then in 2008, we had a senior-laden defense, and we went 10-1. Then in 2009, we were very, very young, but luckily really good on offense, and went 10-2. 2010, we were again senior-laden, a lot of juniors and seniors playing, and you know, we were number 1 in the NCAA in turnover margin, and went 11-1, and you know, made it to the Sweet 16 and the national playoffs. Unfortunately, got beat by Whitewater in a good game. And then in 2011, last year, we played 8 freshmen and sophomores on defense a lot of the time, and only created 22 turnovers. So we're hoping that our theory is correct in 2012.
Yeah. All right. Well, Coach, if we're going to get questions started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and, or do you want to run through that stuff you just had right here?
Yeah, I can do this too. On other periods that we'll do, is, we'll do half the field route recognition with our linebackers and DBs together, just walking through. We'll do a protection walkthrough. It teaches our linebackers and defensive linemen how protections may set up throughout the game and how they should attack them, be in a blitz, be in a pressure. We'll do a blitz period with our offense almost daily, where we're working on our blitz and they're working on their blitz pickup, so it's one-on-ones. And, we'll do a combination of blitz and protection walkthrough. We'll also do a team run fit. We'll do that to make sure that we're in our proper fits at all time. Excellent teaching tool. Coaches are right next to the players talking them through, and players begin to see where they fit in the big picture. Our players also serve as the scout players for that. So our linebackers, our running back, our defensive linemen, our offensive linemen, the quarterback, and the DBs serve as receivers and tight ends. So they're running the plays they're going to see. There's a lot of merit in that. And, I don't think I've got time to get into the defensive line stuff. So if there is any questions, I'd like, shoot away.
All right. Well, I'm going to take control back real quick, and I'm going to run over the instructions on questions. And while you guys send your questions in, I'm going to do a couple commercials. So here's how you send in your questions. There are two ways. The first one is the one I mentioned earlier, where you can go to the webinar control panel and click on the questions portion of that and just type it in and send it in to me, and I'll read it off for Coach. And the other option is if you are called in on your phone, you can raise your hand through a little button on, I'm pretty sure it'd be the question section, and it'll tell me that your hand is raised, and I'll unmute your phone and you can ask a question directly to Coach Abbs. And that however will only work if you are called in on your phone. And if you send in your question, you don't have to raise your hand. I'll see your question right here and it'll work that way. So just if you call in, go ahead and raise your hand. So I'm just going to run over some quick commercials, and start off as Rogers. It says, the ultimate in versatility and durability. Rogers Athletic heavy-duty pendulum racks offer the largest column dimensions, made with 3-inch by 5-inch by 7-gauge tubing to provide the utmost strength and rigidity. This is the sturdiest rack on the market. The pendulum rack can be designed to your training preference and needs. Create power station for various functional body weight training exercise, or add accessories to provide more drills in less space. Our large selection of module attachments and add-ons allow athletes of all sizes and levels to target and maximize the benefits to muscle groups. Visit us online for more information and to view our complete selection of attachment add-ons. Coach's Choice is the place to go if you're looking for the best instructional books and DVDs. They have a full library of instructional material from many different categories. To access these videos, visit their website at www.coacheschoice.com. The safety and performance of your players depends on the right equipment. The PowerPlus mouthguard can help keep all your players safe and in the game, performing at their peak. Designed and tested by dental and medical professionals, the patented PowerPlus mouthguard positions the jaw to increase strength while decreasing the G-force of impact-related head injuries. Visit us at www.powerplusmouthguard.com. Championship coaching systems exist to provide coaches worldwide with specific offensive, defensive, and specialist systems that allow them to win more games and, in turn, championships. If you use one of their systems, you receive superior football content, phenomenal customer service, and a great coaching community. Just go to www.championshipsystems.com. All right, Coach, I'm going to give you control again for the questions part. The little box show my screen. Yep. All right, and to start off, we have a question from Coach Ruist, I believe. He asks, is the YouTube video up all the time, and can we have your email address?
Yeah, I'm going to keep those 2 videos up all the time. And my email address is right here, abbst@trine.edu. And I don't know, I think you guys can see my cell phone, but here it is, 260-312-0655. We're very open here, always open to visitors. If you'd like to talk football, give us a call. If you want to stop in, come on in. And right there is the YouTube address. But I'm going to go ahead and leave those 2 videos up so people that watch the webinar can access those. And there is more footage there if you'd like to view it.
All right, our next question comes from Coach Ciarello. He says, how does Coach determine practice breakdown? How does he determine the periods, time, and what to work on?
Okay. You know, a lot of the things are going to depend on what we're seeing in that week. So we basically, our head coach is, we're going to practice for about 2.5 hours each night. So we're going to have, 55 minutes for the most part, 55 to 60 minutes of defensive side work. And we'll get together as a staff and we usually decide that on Monday night. What do we need to do to get the most out of practice for this week? Do we need to do a live blitz period? Do we need to do a lot of situational scrimmage stuff? Just 1s-on-1s, 2s-on-2s, 3s-on-3s to increase our football IQ of our kids, to see game speed. Because college football is no different than high school or anything. I mean, you're going to see a different speed at practice when you're using your scouts. So we like to do as many situational scrimmages, 1s versus 1s, no matter what, so that we're preparing for game speed. If we think we're going to blitz a lot, we're going to do a lot of blitz period. If we're going to see a lot of bunch concepts, we're going to do a bunch period. But we are going to do 15 to 20 minutes of tackle turnover circuit every single week, no matter what. We've dedicated ourselves to it. It's my philosophy. It's our head coach's philosophy, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to pressure people, and we're going to work on creating turnovers, and we're going to be great tacklers. What's more important in the game of football? The team that creates the most turnovers almost always wins the game. So that's how we decide what we're going to do.
All right, Coach, our next question comes from Coach Kuhn. He asks if you could put your contact info up again, and would you be willing to give out your presentation?
Sure, no problem.
One thing I want to put up real quick is all these webinars will be on the Glazier website, so you can watch it again there. All right, our next question comes from Coach Wilkinson. He asks, how long is each station typically? How often do you circuit a week? How often does each coach change their drill, or do they always do the same drill?
During camp, each coach will have, during camp, I mean, our first 2.5 weeks of practice, we're gonna have 15 to 20 minutes of tackling turnover circuit every single practice, and I'll give the coaches the freedom to do whatever they want, but it's their responsibility to coach that technique and to coach that situation. Does that answer the question? In a week we're going to spend at least, once we get into the season, we're going to at least 20 minutes. And then I'm just going to divide it, okay, if we've got 20 minutes, we've got 6 stations, about 3 minutes a station. If we're going 15 minutes, then it's about 2.5 minutes a station.
Okay. Our next question comes from Coach Goodhue. He asks, Coach, we have limited contact time, meaning most of our athletes start on both sides of the ball. Which 4 turnover drills would you suggest we do? Would you suggest we incorporate daily in order to improve our turnover differential?
I think as we did our study, most of our turnovers happen on hits to the quarterback and kind of the situations I talked about where you got a stronger guy with a skinny guy that can't see him. So I would say the drills that simulate how to tackle a quarterback when he's exposed and strip the quarterback, and then approaching a running back from behind, and then maybe working in a buddy strip, and then also, you know, big proponent of angle tackle, because that's tackling, you know, at its purest form, technique. You know, just really working on getting that front side foot in the ground, keeping the head up, not changing, not throwing, not winding up and getting the head down. But those are probably, I guess there's 4 there that I would really focus on.
All right, well, that's all the questions we have for tonight. Coach, I just want to thank you again for your time. And for all the coaches who attended this webinar, I hope to see you attend our next webinar tomorrow. That's Tuesday, July 24th, where we have Coach John Bland, the head coach at University of the Cumberlands in Kentucky, with us to speak on passing attack off the inside veer package. Have a great evening, everyone.
Everybody stay.
I'm sorry, Coach, what was that?
How many did we get up to? Like 50?
One